Well, just to get off the William Regal topic here, this is something else that a lot of people have found interesting. He recently, apparently in October, spoke at an ITR Inside the Ropes live event, I'm assuming in the UK.
With our good friend Kenny McIntosh. He's everywhere. Check your home movies, folks. Kenny's going to be in the flick.
Well, here's a quote from William Regal. Mr. McMahon was very good to me, to the point of, I will say this because whatever he's going through, he was excellent to me. I had a talent contract as well as an employee contract, and it didn't run out until the end of April because I played William Regal. I started for AEW on the 7th of March. I didn't call anybody else. I sent a message straight to the boss. Hey boss, I've got this thing with Brian, being Bryan Danielson. And he loves Brian as well. Absolutely, you go. And still paid me until the end of my talent contract. I was the only person who ever got paid by both companies at the same time. Now, you know a little bit about this because you talked about the different contracts from when you were there.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the idea he was being paid by both companies and that Vince said, yeah, that's fine, go there?
Well, but now let's back up for a second because Vince is the one that gave him notice, right? Regal didn't quit. And he was let go, he was released, and that was while Vince was still in charge, correct?
That is what we had heard.
So, it is technically possible, and it's not the only time it's ever happened in this respect for someone to have an employee contract and a talent contract, or when I was there, and I've told this story, I'm not going to do it again, but they couldn't make you an employee if you were still going to be taking bumps and being physically active. But since Regal has had health issues and he was not being asked to be physically active, it's not unheard of for someone to have an employee contract but also have a talent contract. And remember, like I think Stephanie's been in that place and Triple H has been in that place where they're executives, but they still have a talent contract, which is separate and pays them to appear on television as a character rather than working in the company. So Regal could have had that. And it is not unusual for those contracts to end at different times because they might be signed at different times. He might have become an employee after he already had an existing talent contract, and they would renew, each contract as they come up rather than doing it in a lump. So, but he's right. As far as I would know, as far as I can figure, nobody has ever actually, there's always, if you've got a non-compete, you're paid through your non-compete, and then you can start after that, but you're not getting paid anymore. Or in some cases, somebody might be paid severance pay to leave, boom, but then you're not actively being paid when you go somewhere else. But nobody, to my knowledge, has ever gotten a check from both companies at the same time, which is a pretty neat trick. But a lot of people are going to say, well, how has that never happened before? Why did it happen here? Whatever reason that Vince had in his mind, or if he wasn't the one that did it, whoever was doing it on his behalf that gave Regal his release to begin with, I don't have any idea why that would have taken place. So therefore, Vince probably said, you know what? This guy's been here however many years. His employee deal's up anyway. We've released him, but his talent contract runs another couple months, and he's hit me with it, which Regal, again, learned to work in the carnivals, and he's hit Vince with a story. I want to go with my boy Brian, and he hits Tony with a story. I want to go with my son.
My son's in AEW. I mean, Brian's in AEW.
Yes, Brian, whatever, but
this worked. I got to use this one again.
Yeah, I'll put that one down in the book. But so Vince probably said, yeah, just pay him a couple more months on it. Pay him out on his talent contract. I can see him doing that. And I can see him saying, yeah, we don't have anything for you. Go do your thing over there. Vince would have no, if a wrestler in Vince's mind is trying to dick him around or get one over on him, he'll extend a contract or freeze a contract or enforce or do whatever the fuck. But once he's decided that he's got the last word, he's released him or it doesn't need him or, I like the guy, but, it's just business, pal, but you go do your thing. And I mean, that's extended back in the old days to when he would give guys that had already left an extra big payoff just so they wouldn't be able to say, I fucked them on the way out, pal. He does shit like that, so I can believe that.
Would you believe that?
Would you believe?
It's another awkward transition spot here. Would you believe that?
I would believe that you need to get back on some drugs, Matt Riddle, if you're not already, or whatever the fuck is hampering your formulating of a cogent simile here today on the program.
All right, well, there are two options to transition to from Regal being paid by Vince. One is ExpressVPN.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go with that one. Because
okay.
I'm assuming that if Vince wanted to watch an AEW pay-per-view illegally, he would probably... I shouldn't use that example. I'm assuming that if Vince McMahon wanted to look at some...
paralegals?
I'm assuming that if Vince McMahon wanted to watch the WWE Network, but he lived in the United States and he couldn't, he would probably want to find a way, and he could with ExpressVPN.
Just move over and get the fuck out of the way. Folks, have you been naughty or nice this year? Well, I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter because you might be able to fool Santa, but you can't fool your internet provider, those IPs. They know everything about you. They've seen all your late night naughty searches. They know, they read your documents as they come through the flying interweb machine. And then there's people inside your walls holding up drinking glasses so they can hear every word or exclamation that you emit. And that's what's going on in your house, folks. They're all over the place. They're in the walls. They're keeping an eye on you when you leave. You know that brown Ford LTD with Missouri plates following you around shopping, gas station, school? That's your internet service providers. They're keeping an eye on you. But fortunately...
that may be someone else. Call the police.
Well, either we call the police on the internet service providers, especially if you got Spectrum, because they're criminals anyway, stealing my money, not giving me my goddamn service I pay for. But nevertheless, AT&T, Verizon, they can see all the websites that you've clicked on. They know how much time you've spent on each one of them. And if it's less than 75 or 80 seconds, they know what you're doing there. And they have likely sold it to advertisers or your family or friends or people that will blackmail you, because that's what these kind of people do. But with ExpressVPN, they're not going to allow that to happen, because ExpressVPN gets all your traffic and reroutes it, puts up the big orange cones and the big barrels and the big flashing signs, and reroutes it through an encrypted server that is so convoluted and so impossible to navigate and so incredibly intricate. It's almost a Gordian knot of a route that will send your signal all the way from your internet, your computer right there, through the walls and through the skies and through the seas and around the world, and finally coming to rest at DumboDoesItDonkeyStyle.com, where nobody can follow you there. And then you can see all those movies and find out that you don't see everything about animal husbandry when you go to Tijuana. Folks, ExpressVPN's app works on all of your devices. It works on your laptop. It works on your iPad. It works on your phone. It works on the Diddlator Mach 3. So whatever you're on, you're protected. As a matter of fact, every once in a while, you might be asked to put a condom on your cell phone, but only in certain neighborhoods. And best of all, ExpressVPN is super easy to use. All you have to do is tap one button to turn it on. Boy, don't you wish your girlfriend was like that. And you're instantly protected. So take yourself off the naughty list and don't let everybody know what you're doing late at night, especially I'm telling you again, these internet service providers, they'll make sure that your mother-in-law knows, and you know what a bitch she can be. So go to expressvpn.com/JCE. Express, EXPRESSVPN.com/JCE, and you're going to get 3 extra months of protection for free. Feel safe and feel secure. And don't be like Mandy Rose and get outed on the internet and get fired from your job. Keep all the strange, deviant behavior that you exhibit in your own home where it should be. ExpressVPN.com/JCE.